Hello, everybody. It's me, Carrie, your Stampin' Up! Demonstrator from Farmington Hills, Michigan, here with a pre-recorded video. So I will not see your comments live as you're watching this, but I promise to check back. Okay, let's get the business out of the way. If you want to shop for Stampin' Up! Products, you can go to my Stampin' Up! Website, which is MemoryINKers.com. The February 2025 hostess code is P as in Paul, M as in Mary, D as in David, 94, F as in Frank, K as in Carrie, T as in Thomas. Okay, so that's out of the way, but I don't want to forget to remind you that February is still celebration. You may want to go to the website and see a few new things have popped on, some new online exclusives, a few things for celebration options. So go ahead and check that out at MemoryINKers.com. Okay, so today for Saturday Sip, we are going to talk about casing. Copy and stamp everything, CASE. So have you ever flipped through a magazine? That's what happened here. And I found this so pretty card. It's so pretty. But I looked at it and went, I don't have that particular stamp set. What am I going to do? Well, it's easy, right? You go look in your stash and see what you have. So I'm going to show you the first one. I decided to use my Thoughtful Expression stamp set, which I really love. I am sad to tell you, though, that the awesome dies that you're going to see in the sample I'm about to show you are no longer available. I know, it stinks. But you might be able to hunt them down. I don't know. But anyway, this is a fun one. You can still get the stamp set, and if you're a fussy cutter, you're golden. All right, so here's the card. The first card I came up with. Can you see all the shine on it? Oh yeah, I just see how fun it is. But the die did cut out the birds and the flowers and the leaves. But you can do that with other projects that you have, right? So this is my first sample, but I added a lot of Wink of Stella on it. I don't know if you can see it. I mean, it's everywhere, and I almost think it's a little much. It might be a little too much for some people. So I'm going to do this card again, only this time I am going to be using the Happy Hibiscus. This is available online, Happy Hibiscus, the Happy Hibiscus dies. These awesome, they're carryover, and they are still available. The gold card, you saw the gold card there. The gold card and the awesome, beautiful envelopes. They're called brushed gold cards and envelopes. Oh, that's really hard to remember, right? And it's number 162177. They're only $12, and you get 20 cards and 20 envelopes. That is a lot for $12, honestly, I think. And they're gold, and they're beautiful, and they're thick. They're thick. So, yeah, this is a bargain. I would stock up on those. In fact, I probably should. Also, myself. Okay, so Happy Hibiscus, an online one. Sweetly Scripted. This is a carryover. Oh, no, it's an online extra also. One of my favorites. You guys know I love sentiments, but I love these long ones. They're just cool. And then this is a rather new one. I think this might be in the new mini. I forget. You know I forget stuff. I don't know. I'll put that back. But it's called Elements of Text. So you can see it's all text and some splotchy stuff. So we're going to be using that. And then we're going to be using these dies. These are called Nested Essentials dies. To my knowledge, as of the time of this recording, everything is available online except for the dies I showed you for the Thoughtful Expressions. Those are not. All right, so let's get going. Move all this out of the way. I'm going to need the dies. Okay, so I am going to start with, look, here's that beautiful beautiful card. And if you look, they are a little bit different on each side. So I'm going to fold it. You're going to see me pausing a lot in this video, just so that you don't have to hear me like emboss and all that kind of stuff. So I have a piece of basic white. I have some scraps of different colors. These are all in colors. So boho blue, I think this is called, hold on, let me look because I don't remember anything. Moody mauve, I was right. And then that is dropping everything. That is not what it's called. Wild wheat. Okay, so I have these, and I've got some other extras, and I have a strip of basic white for my sentiment. So let me grab my foam mat, and I am going to emboss all of these pieces. So what do I need to emboss? I need my embossing buddy, which fell on the floor. So let me find it. Hold on. Let me pause while I look for that. Okay, I found it. So I've got my embossing buddy, and I'm going to emboss some more on this. So I'm just going to rub that all over this one side. Rub it on there. I'm not going to do a lot of embossing on these little pieces, but in case I do, you know, my little whim, I may as well have that ready, right? So, okay. So I'm going to set those aside for a minute. All right, so what am I going to do? I am going to grab my different inks. Ay, ay, ay. I had to make sure I was still actually taping. Sometimes I forget when I'm doing videos, like when I'm pre-recording. Did I turn it off? Did I stop it? Is it going? I get very scattered. I'm also using the industrial trinkets, which are silver. Okay, these are in the annual catalog. But I wanted you guys to see that I took the SU100 blends marker, and I colored them because I wanted them to look a little old and rusted. And I don't know how well you guys can see that, but that's what I did with those. So I will be using those today also. And now I want to stamp with Versamark. Versamark, I just had it. Here it is. The flowers. Now, you can cut these apart if you want, but the die cuts them this way. So I'm not going to do that. Then I don't have to think about it. So I am going to ink these up. And I'm going to stamp them like that on this side. And I know you can't see anything. I know. It'll show up when I actually emboss with it. And then that. Okay, so I've got that. So I have to emboss that. I'm going to go ahead and put powder on that real quick. Okay, so I wanted to do that so it didn't dry. But that's going to be gold when I actually emboss it. It will be gold. Oh, I'm missing a little bit. Hold on. I didn't put enough powder in one little section of it. There we go. That's better. All right, so now I am going to emboss the same design again. And I need my embossing buddy. This is just a scrap piece of basic white. I don't know how big it is because it's a scrap. It's actually 4 1/4 by 5 1/2, so it's like the front of a card. In fact, it probably was a card that didn't turn out, and I tore part of it off. That happens. I don't know if you guys do that, but I definitely do. So I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to ink up the flowers again. I'm not 100% sure how many I'm going to need. For right now, I'm just going to do one set of them. If I need more, I will, you'll just see them magically appear. Poof, right? Okay. And then I want some of the leaves. I don't know how many yet. So let me just go. And I'm using just the skeleton portions. Sometimes it's hard to see where I just stamped. Let me put some powder on that. That helps me sometimes when I am putting more than one thing on some cardstock. There, now I can see where I've stamped other stuff, right? That helps. Because I'm going to stamp it, I'm going to emboss these in gold also. And then I am going to use the dies to cut them out. So I don't, like I said, I have no idea how many I'm going to need. I don't know. So I am faking it. I'll get 3 of those. I'll do another big one. Can't really see where I'm at, but I think that's good. So there we go. So I'm going to put some more of the gold embossing powder on there, and then I'm going to emboss them. One of the other things I'm going to do, let me do these first, and then I'll show you my next step. Okay, I have almost got everything together that I want to heat emboss, but there is something else I am going to do. So I'm going to move these flowers out of my way, and I'm going to grab a couple of stamps from that awesome set called, I forget, Elements of Text. So now they're not using that. I'm going to pick up these pieces. I just grabbed random pieces. And I am going to ink this up in the actual colors. I had to think about that for a minute. So I'm going to start with boho blue on the boho blue. I kind of hope it goes straight. I'm not going to panic if it doesn't. And this looks upside down, and that will confuse me when I go to cut it out. So there we go. All right, so I've got that, right? Now I need to clean this real quick. So I have my scrub, and I showed you guys the last time I keep my cleaner in the big bottle. And I know we have the awesome chamois, which I do use on occasion. But I honestly find that I prefer my scrub. I'm sorry, and I just do. Okay, so we're done with that boho blue for right now. We're going to get out the Moody Mauve, and I'm going to use the same stamp with this one on the Moody Mauve. I think this is upside down again. Yeah, it is. That's okay. All right, and then for this one, I'm going to use Wild Wheat, and I'm just going to do some like dirty splooshes all over it. I'm going to do some different depths of it. There we go. So now I've got all of those. Now what I'm going to do with all of this is I'm going to emboss these. I am going to cut out all of these. I'm going to cut out my flowers and my leaves, and then I'm going to add a little bit of gold onto one of these, and just by rubbing, just by kind of rubbing it with my Versamark and dipping it into the embossing powder. So you're going to see that after I cut it out, you're going to see some of them have gold, and I will make sure to point it out. But I'm going to pause this to keep this video from running forever. So I want you to see that I'm partway done, and I want you to see that, look, the flowers come out separately. So that's why I said don't count them. I am going to emboss these. Remember, I said that, but I forgot while I was putting them together that 2 of them are going to be these with the dovetail, and one of them is with the rounded circle-y corners. I don't know what else to call it. So, okay, finishing my die cutting. Okay, so I have all my die cutting done. So you see how this one is more of the rounded, where this is more of the flag. These 2 are more flaggy. And I've got all the leaves and everything cut out. And now I'm going to add a little bit of Versamark to some of these, just a little. I'm not getting carried away with it. Just kind of putting it on there. Some of it may or may not even show by the time I put it together, but it might. So, you know, I would like to have that option. All right, so I'm going to go and emboss these so you don't have to hear the embossing gun because that's nobody's favorite. Okay, I just have one more thing to stamp, and that's the sentiment. This is bigger than I want it to be, but you know how I feel about not getting things straight. So I'm going to go ahead and ink this. Now I'm doing this in Memento Tuxedo Black. You can do it in any color, but I just decided I wanted it to be rather bold. And this is definitely longer than I need it to be for the card. I probably shouldn't have rocked it that much. But see, it's it's a little wide for my design. I could fussy cut it, which I have been known to do, but honestly, I am not one of those girls who's like, ooh, look at her amazing fussy cutting. That is not me. So I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to trim that. So give me 2 seconds to do that. Okay, so I have all my pieces cut. This is what I ended up with for the happy birthday. It's about 3/4 of an inch. And then I trimmed it to 4 1/4 because it's going to go all the way across the card. So another thing I wanted to do that I did not do on the first card, and this is going to be an experiment. I'm going to try putting some water splotches on this. I don't think they're going to do anything on the gold, so I'm just going to kind of leave them off to the side. But I'm going to do that after I do some coloring on a few of the flowers. So I'm going to leave these as is. Okay, so I guess I can do this now. Oh, decisions. So I've squeezed my ink pad so that I could get, hang on, it doesn't love me right now. Hold on. New ink pads. They're nice and tight. So that I could get a little bit on the bottom. And then I'm taking this is the old Aqua Painters, but you know we have the other ones. I have the other ones. I just grabbed this. So I'm going to just try flicking it in places and see how that goes. And maybe drip a little bit. See what happens. You know, because perfection is overrated, and sometimes you just gotta, oh, I didn't get any blue on those. So let's try that again. So just to get some water splotches in places. And like I said, I'm not sure what's going to show up and what isn't, but we're going to give it a shot. Okay, so now I have all those on there. And I'm going to grab a piece of paper towel. Do you guys keep paper towel in your stamp room? I do. I have it on a paper towel roller. So it's very faint, especially where those big blotches were. They came out very faint. So I'm not sure how I feel about that. I don't think I like it. So I'm going to try and do a little more sploochy and see, because that one just looks weak. Maybe I'm going to try letting it set aside for a few minutes. I don't have a lot of time because this video is going to run too long if I do that. But let me see what happens when I do that. And then wipe it down, right? The other thing that's really important is this is all watery now, so I like to go in there and just dab that out as well so I don't get water in my ink pad. All right, so I have all of my pieces, right? I'm leaving these gold, and I'm going to set this aside to dry a little bit. I don't want to use my heat gun, although I might. It could happen. I can see it wanting to run a little bit, which might be okay. I don't know. We'll see. We'll see how it goes. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take my flowers and my leaves, and I want to color them a little bit. And I'm going to use my blends brushes, I think. That's what I did on this card, was I used my blends brushes. So let's see how that goes. And I definitely want the balmy blue to be like my primary color, but I want the gold to really show up. So I am going to take the lightest balmy blue. I think for the light part, I'm going to brush it on. And because this is different than what I did before, right? It's different. So I kind of have to play as I go. So yeah, that's a lighter look, which is kind of what I was going for the main part of this. And then I'm still going to use the light brush end, and I'm just going to kind of highlight it a little bit in places where I think it might want to have a little bit more color. Just a little, and I'm not, you see, I'm not being pretty. Not at all being pretty with it. I am going to grab the light wild wheat, and because I think this might be more of a wild wheaty color, right? So I'm going to do that. While I have that open, I'm going to go ahead and do wild wheat in the center here, kind of spread it out a little bit, maybe dab it off. There we go. Now for this one, I think what I'm going to do is I am going to use the Moody Mauve, and I'm going to do basically the same thing I did with the other one. I'm going to start with the Moody Mauve. Oh, look how dark that came out. That's good. That's fine. It's still mutilated. Mutilated? I don't know. Muted. See how it's all like all over the place? That's good for me. This one, I think I'll do this one in the blue. And maybe I'll add, ooh, let's be nuts. I'm going to add a little bit of the pink in there too. So this one's going to be both blue and pink because I can, right? So that's those. And then I want the leaves to be a green, and yet somehow I forgot to grab my old olive. So there we go. My old olive, which I really think needs to be re-inked, which might be a good thing right now for this. Had to grab my green brush and just going to add a little bit of color. I'm not, you notice I decided against using my blends. Certainly you could. But you know, here's the thing, in my opinion, about creating is sometimes you have a plan and your plan isn't what you expect. This is why, seriously, I'm not kidding here. I do not really enjoy going to like crafting days or crafting weekends, even though I have one scheduled for after I get back from the Stampin' Up onstage convention, because I change my mind constantly. And I have a huge area, and I've got all my stamp stuff. So then when I change my mind, what happens? I don't have what I want. Okay, so we're going to see what happens now that I've left this on a little bit longer. Yeah, that's better. It's still subtle, but I got some of the blue. Now you're going to see how my card kind of looks like it's warpy. That's not really from the water, that's from the embossing. So I'm going to do this while you're on. I'm going to emboss from underneath, and usually, I'm not going to guarantee anything, but usually that helps straighten out the curve. We'll see if it does in this instance. It's getting better. All right. So it's better, right? It's not great, but it's better. But it's all part of the creativity, right? Okay, we're getting close to 30 minutes, so sometimes when that happens, my phone stops recording. No idea why. But this is a new phone. Newer from the last time that happened. So we're going to hope that it doesn't happen with this phone. Okay, so now what I'm going to do is I want to put my flags, there it is, all on here. just like I did for the other one, and I'm kind of following my copied design here. So the first one is going to lay flat. Did I show y'all that I emboss these? I'm hoping you guys can see. They have just a little bit of embossing on them. So the first one's going to lay flat, like so. The second one is also going to be flat. It's going to overlap a little bit. And then the last one I'm going to put up on dimensionals. Just a couple of dimensionals. Not sure what that... Oh, you know what happened was there was a little bit of embossing powder on my table, and I thought I'd use it. And so look, there's a little bit of silver. I don't know if you guys can see that. That was an accident, but I'm okay with it. I think it's kind of fun. Okay, so I want to see that blue dovetail. For now, anyway, we'll see. Now I'm going to try adding some flowers. So I think I'll put this one up here. And I'm going to use dimensionals. I'm going to tear off a piece. And put that up here. And then this little one, where did it go? I think I'll maybe, hang on, let me see. I'll stick that one up there. Sometimes you got to play around to get the look that you want. There are other things on this card that I'm casing that I did not do that I think are really cool. I didn't do it for this video. So now look, this is going to go half on this piece, which is already dimensional. So I want to be sure not to put dimensions here, because then that flower would be weird. So I'm going to put them on the other areas, and then on this area, I'm just going to put a little bit of the liquid glue. Not a lot, just a little. Just to hold it in place. I forgot to bring my cute little vacuum over here to vacuum up the mess. All right, so now I decide, let me see if this is still taping. It is. Yay. It says I have 2 minutes left. So I'm going to try setting in some leaves and seeing what I think of them. Look at that. I completely covered up that blue. That's a bummer. That is a bummer. Let me see if I can move it a little bit. There we go. All right. So now we can just find some places for some leaves and go ahead and make this a happy little card, right? So all right, that's all. I'm not going to use that leaf. Maybe I can stick it on the inside. And I'm just going to go ahead and I'm going to glue these down. Now this one is going on shiny, so I'm going to have to pay attention to it and make sure it dries really well before I mail it off. See how I did that with my wet fingers? Ha! Because I kind of didn't want to lose the way they were. Oh, I did anyway. So there's that. And then these two, I'm not going to try the two at once trick. And I need to find, I think I need to find some bling. Don't you think? It needs bling. Of course it does. Of course it needs bling. How can it not need bling? Oh, that was too much glue, but it's okay. It's all right. It'll be good. All right, let me grab some bling. Okay, so I'm grabbing some adhesive backed, what are these called? Metallic gems. I just dropped them on the floor. Sorry about that. Okay, and none of my scissors are over here. What is going on? All right, so I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to use the gold just because, I mean, gold is my thing on here, right? So one of my hairs is stuck to my hand. Sorry about that. Slightly gross. I apologize. It's still there. It's because my fingers... I'm sorry, you guys. I am losing my hair because of my health issues. So you might see hairs now and then. I apologize. All right, so there we go. So here is my second casing of this fun card. This one's probably a little closer to it, although still not the same. So here are my two. I hope you guys like them. I hope you're having a fantastic Saturday and a wonderful rest of your weekend. I will see you guys for Tiny Tip Tuesday. Bye.